Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Cord Cutting TV, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, Joint Boutique Hotel and Cowork, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, Oculto, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners. Here we are. We made it. Good morning. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get-together live here on Facebook. It is a pleasure to see you on this Saturday. Cue the Saturday music. What do we want? We've had Bay City. Let's have Chicago. And only a couple of beats because we don't want to get canceled by YouTube. How is everybody doing? This is Coffee and Headlines, our morning get-together live here on Facebook, where I go looking for interesting news to share with you every morning and events that we might be able to go. This morning we have interesting news and some events, some of which look really appealing. Others, I thought they would be more interesting. And then I looked at the descriptions and I thought to myself, maybe I'm getting old and I don't like to get out of the house, or maybe event organizers could be a little bit more forthcoming. You be the judge. I'm going to share a couple of events and you will let me know what you think. I've also finally had a chance to play with, oh my God, it's so heavy. We have a new microphone, and this is a new this microphone has been in my possession for over 25 years now. This one is a brand new state-of-the-art microphone that came to me as a present from our dear technology guardian angel, Daniel House. Let's have a little one of these. Yay! So this is heavy. It's very heavy, and I haven't had a chance to play with it. The most important thing that I needed to do is to figure out if my boom arm, which is this little contraption that goes up and down, whether the boom arm is sturdy enough to withstand the weight of the microphone. And I did that test yesterday. And sometime between today and tomorrow, I'm just going to switch microphones and see what happens. As always, I'm so grateful to Daniel. Thank you, Daniel, for being my friend and also for sharing wealth and technology that you are offered regularly by vendors. This is so nice. Anyhow, I shall not get distracted with your comments. Let us go to the news. Let me get my little button console closer to myself. And we are going to start not with that. But we are going to talk about that later on today. Let me start with this one and make it pretty. And it went away. Hold on just a second. We start with news from our mayor. Mayor Munguia's cabinet has been busy following through on some important projects for the city's infrastructure, focusing on two aspects: vehicular traffic and security. To that effect, preliminary work has begun along an important throughway. This is Manuel M. Dieguez Street, but not in Emiliano Zapata. I'm talking about the one street that is right in front of Home Depot that is desperately in need of improvement, and also another street that has some faulty storm drains near the Lienzo, Charro, Prieto, y Barria. This is the place where the Charro Festival takes place. So this is now happening, and it is all good news. In a recent interview, Mayor Munguia took the time to explain the intended use of some of the new taxes that he has been proposing. For starters, he clarified that they are contributions more than taxes. And most importantly, they are grounded in established law and commonly used in other parts of the country. If you missed yesterday's broadcast, this has to do with a new tax that has been proposed that will be paid by all foreign visitors coming to Puerto Vallarta by land, by air, or by sea. And how will the taxes be used? Well, there are important environmental projects such as the rescue of the Coapinole Lagoon behind Pitillal. Then there's also the creation of walking trails in the Agua Azul Park. We have talked about this, but not in a while. And there are other important environmentally related needs that the city has. And this is what the new taxes will be used for. Now, this news entered our radar a couple of weeks ago and now seems to be confirmed. The Pacific Airport Group, or Grupo Aeroportuario del Pacífico, along with the Mexico City Airport Group, these are the two entities that administer airports in the aforementioned regions. They have announced a tax increase on airport use that will affect both the airlines and also the end users. The article goes on to offer comparative numbers between the cost to fly into our airports when compared to important destinations elsewhere in the world. I will spare you the details, but the bottom line is flying in and out of Puerto Vallarta is expensive and is about to get even more so. Elsewhere in the country, the fact that the government of Guatemala has expressed interest in a connection with our southern neighbor in Mexico by way of the Maya train caught my attention. This is very preliminary at this time, but if things line up, we could end up being able to take a train all the way to Guatemala and also to Belize, which would be very interesting if you enjoy traveling by train. Last but not least, in our first block of news, we were wondering whether La Presidenta Claudia Sheinbaum and President-elect Donald Trump did in fact have a telephone conversation, and they did. According to Sheinbaum, the conversation was cordial, and Trump invited her to his inauguration. He touched base on immigration, but only very briefly. Now, I was not planning on doing this, but I think I'm going to do it anyway. As you know, we stay fairly detached from politics north of the border here at Coffee and Headlines, but important things have happened, important things that change the expectations and perceptions of many as it relates to the run for president in the United States. Until the moment in which the voting took place, I had been following a lot of commentators and a lot of discourse on the news media outlets just to stay informed, just to be an informed citizen. Knowing, of course, that the subject matter does not apply to what we talk about here. And now that it's over, I find myself in conundrum of sorts. On the one hand, I am up to here in news that have to do with elections north of the border. I've stopped watching all these commentators that I was watching regularly, Pac-Man and some others. I wonder what they're going to do for a living moving forward. I also wonder what Saturday Night Live is going to do with what's-her-face that got Maya Rudolph. Is it Maya Rudolph that got hired again to play Kamala Harris? But I don't know exactly what's going to happen there. But the reason I bring this up is because I have many friends that are very upset and troubled by the outcome of the presidential election. And my concern is now how to be of support to our friends that are upset about this, knowing perfectly well that for the most part, our day-to-day lives continue, particularly for those of us that live here in Puerto Vallarta or live outside of the United States. So I've just wanted to put that out there, and saying that from where I sit, I am mindful of the fact that some of you are really upset and troubled and disappointed, and I just don't know how to be of support. And I just wanted to put that out there in case you are going through similar situations in your end. In the meantime, well, we are all about Puerto Vallarta and Mexico and Jalisco, and that's what we are going to continue to be. But just know that this is something that I'm concerned about, the well-being of my friends from north of the border. Now, let's take a quick look at the weather forecast just to see what's going on out there. Oh dear, when I torture you, would you prefer thumb screws or the heretic's fork? I don't know that I want to be tortured by the weatherman. It is 29 degrees right now. Humidity is at 68%. And our forecast for today says we're going to enjoy clear skies in the morning with partly cloudy skies in the afternoon, a high of 31 and a low of 22. Then tomorrow we can expect a humid day with mostly clear skies, but a few clouds may be wandering around. We'll have a high of 31 and a low of 21. And then Monday, we'll begin the work week with a humid day with mostly clear skies throughout the day, a high of 31 and a low of 20. Barely any signs of rain for any of the 3 days, so I didn't even bother to mention that. Moving right along, I have a public service announcement that I received from someone via email, and I'm going to read it exactly as I received it. I did edit it a little bit. Hi, Paco. I have a friend who has finally been scheduled for open heart surgery to replace one of the valves to his heart. IMSS requires that he find blood donors for 9 pints of blood. He has been trying for over a year and has only found 2 donors. Would it be possible for you to highlight his need on your show and publish his email address? He is Robert Hutton, and his email address is roberthutton46 at hotmail.com. Many thanks for your consideration of this request. I didn't even have to consider it. I am always happy to create important connections such as these. And Robert, I hope you are able to find the donations that you need. There was no specification on the type of blood, but I will include this information in the show notes for you to reach out if you are able to do so. Next, we have a reminder that tomorrow is the 2nd annual Rainbow Race here in Puerto Vallarta. This was published by Banderas News, and this is a fundraise, I suppose. I don't know if there are prizes or not, but it's open to runners, joggers, and walkers over 18, and there are 2-kilometer and 5-kilometer options. Again, this happens tomorrow, and if you want more information about where to go and run or where to go and cheer, you'll find the related article in the show notes. Then I found this, and I thought I was going to get really excited about it, but I didn't. According to this, there is a gallery of epic art and print, local original artists that display their work every week at the Saturday weekend market on Isla Cuale from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Or else you can call for an appointment. But there is no information on what kind of art you can expect. There are no pictures of some of the works that are going to be displayed. So there's nothing to hold on to. There's nothing that will compel me to get out of my house and go exploring. I mean, if I had already planned a trip to the weekend market, then I suppose this epic art print and gallery Isla Cuale is got to be there somewhere. You can ask to find it. But wouldn't it be nice if some of the people that post these kinds of events would publish more information or candy or juicy beats or something, or is it me? We had this conversation recently about restaurants and venues that publish live music and are not very forthcoming of information. Um, are these guys doing enough for themselves? Are they doing enough for you or me? You tell me what you think. Then there's this other market, another event. There's another market. How many markets does it need to change a light bulb? I have no idea. But for a change, this market did have, or this event did have heaps of information. There's a huge amount of information in the event. We find out that it's going to happen in downtown, although the Google Maps sent them, or the Facebook Maps set the event in Coapinole or some strange place. We find out about the basic services offered at this location that include all kinds of massages. Then we find out there are still vendors available, vendor spots, how to become a vendor, so forth and so on. So here's an interesting contrast between two events that would be really interesting. One of them has more information than the other. So I don't know. I'm at odds with these kinds of things. And whenever I try to give you juicy information about these events, if the event itself doesn't include any juicy information, I'm more inclined to not even mention it. For that matter, we have a lovely program here at Coffee and Headlines called The Spotlight, where we invite event organizers of all kinds to come and talk to us about your events, but you know that, so there's no need to repeat that. Anyhow, I just came across those two events that caught my attention, and they're there. If you are intrigued by them, then by all means go for them. If not, for myself, I would like to see a little bit more juice in these event announcements. Maybe I could use some more juice in my own. I don't know, but I want to remind you that my next music appreciation presentation is going to be Gratitude, where we'll take a look at music that honors thankfulness. We will take a listen to songs that make us feel happy and grateful this time of the year. No, we're not going to do Christmas carols, don't worry. But there's a lot of music out there in the classical and jazz and pop spirits that, or languages that are very wonderful and will make you feel good about feeling grateful. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And of course, in my recent Rachmaninoff, I asked people, well, I don't know what to do in December. What should I do? And somebody said, well, why don't you do something about Mexico's holiday traditions like you did for Day of the Dead? And at first I thought, no, there's not enough meat there. But then I started thinking about it, and there is a lot of things to break down and unpack. So we are now having a Mexican December, unpacking Mexico's holiday season's traditions. And what are we going to discuss? Well, the whole thing starts with the Guadalupe processions, which go on between December 1st and 12th. And people wonder why they're there and why they happen. Then, of course, we have the posadas. And people wonder, well, why are they there and when do they happen? Well, they happen between December 16 and continue until the 23rd. Some posadas happen at people's homes. What do you do if you're invited? Then other posadas happen at businesses. What is the difference between one and the other? Then, of course, we have Christmas Eve followed by Christmas Day. But who goes to what? Some people enjoy a Christmas Eve dinner. Some people enjoy a Christmas Day dinner. Why is that? Then we have Dia de los Inocentes on December 28th, that pranky day, where here at Coffee and Headlines we have so much fun releasing pranky headlines. Why do we do that? Where did that tradition come from? And then on January 6th, we have Three Wise Men's Day, which comes attached to a special kind of bread, which we call the Rosca de Reyes. But the Rosca has little plastic figurines installed or attached within the dough, and they're not there to endanger your dentures, although they could. They're there to indicate that you are, if you get a little figurine, you're supposed to buy tamales for your friends on Dia de la Candelaria in February. But what is that about? So you see, a Mexican tradition of holidays is so much more than Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So we are going to unpack all that in my next music appreciation presentation. I will be talking more about that as time moves on. And this is all I have to share with you today. Let's see what's on your mind. Okay. Good mornings, good mornings, good mornings, good mornings. Thank you very much. Oh, today is Karen's birthday. Happy birthday, Karen Miller. I didn't know that, but happy birthday. I hope you have a great day today. Yay, more good mornings. Pum pum pum. Do. Let's see what... Oh, there's a cue here. In regards to the fishing derby today, what's the biggest fish ever caught? I have no idea. But getting in touch with the organizers might be a good way to get an answer for that, Laura. Let's see what else we have. What blood type are they looking for? That's a great question, Brian. Unfortunately, that information was not revealed. You know, it is what it is. I would have thought about including that important bit of information as well. And Carmen Porras gives us a nice reminder to be nice and respectful to all your service staff at supermarket, restaurants, building staff, etc., all employees. Remember, we had a very slow summer. Lots of people are arriving in Puerto Vallarta, and a lot of staff is newly hired. I had to intervene the other day. A lady, I can see this. A lady was yelling in English at the supermarket at a non-English staff member. Lady was misplacing items that staff member had just arranged. Why would somebody do that? If you're gonna yell in Spanish. That's the language spoken by most people. And if you have to yell, consider not doing it. You know, seriously, this is not a nice thing to do. Let's everybody take a big breath and count to 5 if we find ourselves in a situation in which we feel compelled to yell at someone in a language they don't even understand. How stupid is that? Okay. Linda, I'm not sure what you're talking about, but I think you're relating. I get frustrated. Often an address that you have to Google map. Why not give a landmark? Often no price mentioned for events. Often the date or venue is tiny print, so you have to go look for it. The date should say Saturday, November 8th, not just November 8th. Make it easy for the audience so they don't have to search for info. I agree with you, Linda. Ultimately, the easier we make it for people to reach us, the better we are. Good morning, Michael. It's great to see you. And I think this brings us to the end of our broadcast. So let's wrap it up. It is Saturday. The weekend is upon us. I hope you have a great weekend. I have some fun things planned for myself that I'm looking forward to. So, including trying my way with a brand new microphone. Have a great weekend. Have a great time. Stay safe. Stay happy. Oh, Gouda pops up. Regarding blood donation, my understanding is it does not matter what type you donate. It is about people donating an equal amount of what he needs. Oh, I didn't know that. There are, however, age and some other restrictions for donors that would be good to have posted. There you go. Well, I mean, I wouldn't go too hard on the person that was doing that posting. It was a third person that was just doing a good deed. So let's take it for what it is, that person was just a messenger, and so be it. That, my friends, is different than a paid event or something else. But you know how we